अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैः उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्यः प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दम्। यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्याप्रसादान्न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन् स्तुवंस्तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यो नमस्कारः. Welcome to this session. Today we will begin with this question: who or what is God? Very often these questions come to people's minds. Is there a higher being called God or Bhagavan? If yes, then how do we understand that God? How do the Shastra, or more generally scripture, such as Bhagavad-gi, describe God? So across the world, there are so many texts which talk about God, and we say they belong to different religions, etc. But whatever it is, all of them try to describe some kind of a reality that is beyond what is visible to us. And most interestingly, this question, how does God understand himself? So these kind of questions come to our minds, and the reason why we are studying Bhagavad Gita and now the Bhagavatam is to answer these questions. Uh, People in the past have also asked these questions. We are not the first people to ask these questions. For whenever, as long as people have existed, they have actually debated over these kind of questions, and so many texts have emerged from their realizations. So by studying them, we make ourselves aware of this reality called God or Bhagavan, and we realize that there is much more to know than what we can directly see with our eyes. So currently, we are going through the text known as Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically the Dashama Skanda, or the 10th Skanda of Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is divided into 12 Skandas. Skanda means a division of a long book. So we are going through the Dashama Skanda, which describes the appearance and activities of Sri Krishna, of God in the form of Sri Krishna. So where are we right now? We are actually in the second chapter. So what did we hear last time? Last time we heard that Kamsa has actually imprisoned Devaki's cousin brother. Kamsa has imprisoned her husband and her in his house because there was a voice which said that the eighth child of Devaki will kill him. Subsequently, Kamsa kills six of Devaki's children, the first six sons born to her. The seventh child, what happens to that seventh child? That's the recap of the last session, in which Anantasesha, that is Sri Vishnu's own expansion, Vishnu appears in the form of Anantasesha as the seventh child of Devaki. He resides in her womb for 7 months. Subsequently, he calls Yogamaya and asks her to move that child, that embryo, from the womb of Devaki to that of Rohini. Rohini is another wife of Vasudeva, and currently she is staying in Gokula. She is not in Mathura. She is in Gokula, and she is actually in the protection of Nanda. Nanda and Vasudeva are like brothers. So Nanda is taking care of her, and there are also other wives of Vasudeva who we heard are living in the different caves or some hiding places on the other side of the river. So now Yogamaya does this. So Yogamaya shifts that embryo, which is actually Anantasesha himself, from the womb of Devaki to that of Rohini. We heard this last time. Then what happens? This was the last shloka we read. Garbhe pranite devakyaha rohinim yoga nidraya aho visramsito garbha iti pauraha vichukrushuhu. So when Yogamaya did this transfer, then people who did not know all this, they thought that this child has actually undergone a miscarriage, or Devaki has experienced a miscarriage and this baby is lost. And indirectly, they also thought that Kamsa must have done something. The first six children he killed after they were born. Now, the seventh one, he has done something to kill the child in the womb itself. And therefore, she had a miscarriage. So, they suspected Kamsa's mischief in this particular thing, but it was neither that nor actually a miscarriage. It was actually Yogamaya's work. So Rohini, she actually she was also carrying an embryo in her womb for 7 months, parallelly with Devaki. So she first experienced a miscarriage, and then when she was lamenting over it in the same night, uh, Yogamaya appears to her in a dream and says, "Don't worry. Actually, I have arranged Anantasesha to appear in your womb, and your child will be born after some time." So then she becomes peaceful and she goes to bed. This is all described in the Harivamsha Purana. So this is where we left off last time, and subsequent to this, what happened? So now seven children are over in Devaki's womb, and the space is ready for the eighth child, Devaki's eighth child. And so Vyasdevji writes, Bhagavanapi Vishwatma Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha Avivesha Amshabhagena Manaha Anaka Dundubehe. So Bhagavan, Sri Bhagavan, Krishna or Vishnu, he is Vishwatma. He is present in every part of this universe. He is called Vishwatma. He is present every place in this universe. And he is Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha, means he is one who creates fearlessness. Bhayankaraha means something that's fearful. Abhayankaraha means something that is fearless. Or Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha means one who brings fearlessness to his bhaktas, those who are deeply attached to him. And indirectly, this also says, because it's saying Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha, the question comes, then is he causing fear to somebody else other than the bhaktas? Yes, there is a class of people who are actually asuras, and they are people who try to trouble the bhaktas. They intentionally trouble the bhaktas. They don't like Vishnu. And so, for them, he creates fear. So we will see, and we have seen before too, that Kamsa actually has this fear that Vishnu will come and kill him again. He remembers his past birth, that he was Kalanemi, and then Vishnu appeared there and he killed him. So now he suspects that Vishnu has again uh, done something by which he will appear and kill me. So he is now already living in fear. You can see how abhaktanam bhayankaraha. Bhaktanam abhayankaraha into abhaktanam bhayankaraha. Avivesha, he entered. Avivesha means entered. Amshabhagena, by his complete, in his complete manifestation, all his aspects and energies. So, what did he enter? Did he enter the womb of Devaki? Not in the beginning. He first entered the mind of Vasudeva. Manaha Anaka Dundubehe. Anaka Dundubihi, like I have explained earlier, is a name for Vasudeva. Why is he called by that name? This was a name given to him when he was born, because when he took birth, there was a beating of celestial drums in the heavenly sphere. The devas, when they saw this very noble personality taking birth on the earth, they beat drums in celebration. So Anaka and Dundubi, they are two types of drums. They are two different types of drums. So these kind of drums were beaten, and so his name was given as Anaka Dundubi. Is also referred to by this name in multiple places in the same narration. But we know him as Vasudeva, the son of Shurasena. So now, first, Sri Bhagavan appeared with all his energies and aspects in the mind of Vasudeva. Then what happened? So you can see here, this is the way that Vasudeva gets his name. And a point here is that, you see, if God Himself, who is known as the Father of all the living beings. God is described as the Father of all the living beings, the Mother of all the living beings, in Bhagavad-gita, for example. But He chooses somebody as a Father when He comes here, manifests Himself. So, how good should that person be? Vasudeva was that good. Vasudeva's qualities were such that he could attract God as his own son, to become his own son. Sabibhrat paurusham dhama bhrajamano yatha ravihi durasado ati durdharsho bhutanam sambhavuvaha. So from the time that Sri Bhagavan appeared in him, in his consciousness, in his mind, he became bright. His lustre, he became Paurusham. So Bibhrat means he bore Paurusham Dhama. Paurusham means of that Supreme Person, Bhagavan. Dhama. Dhama means effulgence. The word Dhama in Sanskrit has multiple meanings, and one of the meanings is residence or abode, Dham. We say, for example, Dham, Mathura Dham, Kashi Dham, or Badrinath Dham. We say Dham, right? Dham means abode or residence, a pilgrimage, place of pilgrimage, a holy place. Another meaning of Dham is lustre or radiance, effulgence, radiance. And the third meaning we already have seen is amsha, means a portion or a part. So here the meaning is radiance. So the radiance of the Supreme Being appeared in Vasudeva's body. And he looked like the sun. He looked very bright like the sun. He became Durasadaha. Ati Durdharshaha means that radiance, Ati Durdharshaha means extremely difficult to surpass, something that cannot be surpassed. Nobody could subdue or surpass that dazzle around him. He was so bright, it could not be covered. And because of that dazzle, nobody could go near him. Durasadaha means one near which you cannot go. Suppose there is a bright light somewhere, a bright lamp, then you can only stand at a distance and look at it. If you go near, it becomes blinding, something like that. Bhutanam sambhavuvaha, he became like that. ततो जगन्मङ्गलमच्युतांशं समाहितं शूरसुतेन देवी दधार सर्वात्मकमात्मभूतं काष्ठायतानन्दकरं मनस्तः. Then what happened? Subsequently, Vasudeva transferred Krishna from his mind, from his consciousness, to the consciousness of Devaki. So it is a mental transfer. He transferred Bhagavan from his mind through his mental abilities through to the mind of Devaki, and Devaki absorbed Sri Bhagavan in her in this manifestation. So then what happened? Devaki became extremely joyful when the presence of Bhagavan became felt inside her, which she could feel that something has appeared inside me, that Bhagavan has appeared inside me, he's going to become my son. So she became very joyful. And who is this person who has appeared? It's described here. Sarvatmakam, one who is present in every being. Sarvatmakam, he is present in every being. Atma Bhutam, that person became present inside Devaki. And it was just like Kashtha in the eastern direction, Anandakaraha. Anandakaraha means it refers to the moon here. Uh, because the moon's hands or the rays of the moon, Karaha means the hands, and it also refers here to the rays of the moon. So Ananda Karaha is the moon whose rays, the full moon, whose rays are very pleasing. They give a lot of pleasure to whoever experiences them. Suppose you are in an open land, let's say you are in an open meadow, or even in a desert, or in some place where the moonlight is very clear, bright, and falling on you, and there's a cool breeze. How does it feel? It feels fantastic. It feels great, especially when it's the full moon. And so, just like the eastern direction bears that full moon, Devaki was now bearing that child inside her. The divine child was inside her. Sa Devaki Sagan Sarva Jagan Nivasan Nivasa Bhuta Nitaram Nareje Bhojendra Gehegni Shikheva Ruddha Saraswati Jnana Khale Yatha Sati. So this Devaki now she became Sarva Jagan Nivasa Nivasa Bhuta. So Sri Bhagavan is Sarva Jagan Nivasaha, means the entire universe is described as residing within him. In Bhagavad-Gita, for example, in the 10th chapter, in the 11th chapter, in the 10th chapter, he describes how everything in this universe is actually a small amsha of him, of a small portion of him. And in the 11th chapter, he shows that form to Arjuna until Arjuna says, please, enough, I don't want to see anymore. Right? So everything resides inside Bhagavan, but that Bhagavan has now become a part of Devaki, and Devaki has become the residence of that person who is the residence of everything. So Sarva Jagan Nivasa Nivasa Bhuta Devaki. Still, despite that, Nitaram na reje, she did not shine. So earlier it's described that Vasudeva actually shone bright with Krishna inside him. and his radiance became so much that people could not go near him. Nobody could go near him. But Devaki did not, so Devaki is not described here as having that same effulgence. Probably she had. But the point being made is that Bhojendra Gehe Agni Shikhe Varuddha. Unfortunately, instead of being in her own house, she was in the house of Kamsa, and she was under house arrest. She was not on, I mean, not even in her own house, but in the house of her brother. A wicked Kamsa was actually her jailer. He had jailed her, and because of that, she was like a Agni Shikha Iva Ruddha. Suppose you have a candle, a nicely burning lamp or a candle, and you cover it with something, then the beauty of that lamp cannot be seen anymore, right? Maybe there are two holes in which air is going through for the lamp to be alive, but apart from that, the lamp is not visible and there's darkness everywhere. So the beauty of the lamp is visible only when you leave it open. Similarly, Devaki was not visible to anyone, except of course to Kamsa's people. So she became blocked. And Saraswati Jnana Khaleva Khale Yathasati. Another example, analogy given here is just like knowledge. The knowledge of a person, if it is not shared with others, or if it is misused, Jnana Khalaha means one who misuses the knowledge or who does not share it with anyone, does not use it for anything good, just keeps that knowledge within himself or herself. Okay, sometimes you do see people like that who are unwilling to share anything with others. They just have it. Maybe they are waiting for an opportune time when they can, exploit that knowledge for themselves. Whatever it is, they don't share with anyone. They just keep it to themselves, and nor do they, uh, you know, let others know even that they have that knowledge. So, such a case, Saraswati is not happy about it. So, in the same way, Devaki, although she had Bhagavan inside her, the happiness of that situation was not experienced by anyone because she was locked up. So basically, Vyasdevji here is condemning Kamsa's act of locking up the person in whom Sri Bhagavan himself has appeared. Tam vikshya kamsaha prabhaya jitantaram virochayantim bhavanam shuchismitam ahaishame pranaharo harirguham dhruvam shrito yanna pure yamidrishi. Very beautiful shloka. It says Kamsa came there because he's always watching, and he's very, very, nervous that any time the eighth baby will come. Now the first seven have gone through my hands. Now the last one, the eighth one, which the voice said will kill me, is going to come. So he was looking around, and finally he saw that now there's an effulgence coming out of her body. He could see that. And Ajitantaram. Ajita means one who cannot be conquered. Ajitaha, na Ajitaha, one who is never defeated. It's a name of Vishnu. Ajita is a name of Vishnu. Antaram, one who has Ajita inside her. That is Devaki. Virochayantim bhavanam shuchismitam. Her smile, smita, means smile. Her smile was shuchi, very pure, very genuine smile, and she was actually lighting up the bhavanam, lighting up the house. The smile, Devaki's smile, was a million-volt smile, like we would say today. So it was lighting up the house. She was lighting up the house with her smile and with her effulgence. Aha, then he said. Aha means he said. Eshame pranaharo harihi guham dhruvam shritaha. So my killer, Hari, pranahara means my killer, Hari, has now come inside her. Because yat na pura iyam idrishi. She has never looked like this before. I've never seen Devaki as beautiful as this. I've never seen her smile like this. I've never seen her like this. And now she's looking extraordinary. And I'm sure that Hari has now come in her womb. Kimadya tasmin karaniyam me yadartha tantro na vihanti vikramam striya swasur matyavadhoyam Yashashriyam Hantyanukulayuhu Anukalamayuhu. Yashashriyam Hantyanukalayuhu. So he's now thinking, okay, what should I do now? Kim Adya Tasmin Karaniyamashuhu. So today, right now, what do I do? In the first six cases, I waited for the baby to be born and then I killed the baby as soon as it was born. The seventh one was a miscarriage. That's what he thought. Now the eighth one has come. I'm sure it has come. Now what should I do? Should I just kill her? The best thing may be to just kill her. But is that the best thing to do? Because actually, even a selfish person here, artha tantraha, na vihanti vikramam. Because if I kill her, what will happen? What will people say? You know, the previous six times I killed only the baby after it was born, and there was a justification that some baby might kill me. So out of self-defense, I can say I killed the babies. But now I'm not killing a baby directly. I'm killing the mother, thinking that the baby has come. So what will people say? That too, this person is a woman. I'm killing a woman, and I'm killing my sister. Swasuhu means it's not just any woman; it's my own sister. And Gurumati. Gurumati means a pregnant woman. A pregnant woman, a Sanskrit word for that is Gurumati. Another word for a pregnant woman is Gurvini. So Gurvini or Gurumati, here Gurumati is used, Gurumatya. So three criteria: a woman, my sister, and a pregnant woman. So for all these reasons, killing such a person, what will happen? I'll be killing my own fame, yashashriyam, my wealth, and in course of time, my own lifespan will come down. So even though he is so wicked at heart, and even though his own life he feels is threatened, has this thought that if I kill this woman right now, then I will only lose. Okay, I may be able to save my life immediately from this eighth child by killing the child, but what will happen? People will say, what kind of a fellow is this? He's killed a woman, his own sister, when she was pregnant. She was completely helpless, and at that time, he's gone and killed her. What kind of a fellow? So, my fame, reputation, everything will go to the dogs, and I will also, my own lifespan will reduce. So, he has that much wisdom. So, he thinks like that, and he says, now I won't kill her. स एष जीवन् खलु सम्परेतो वर्तेत यो अत्यन्त निशंसितेन देहे मते तं मनुजाः शपन्ति ganta tamondham tanumanino dhruvam. So even though he is wicked, he has a sense of reputation. He says a person like that who kills his own sister when she is pregnant and she is helpless and so on. So such a person, even if he is alive, is as good as dead because he does such a wicked thing. A wicked person, any person who does something wicked, is as good as a dead person because people are always cursing that person and they are saying that when this fellow dies, dehe mrite ganta tamo andham tanumanino hadruvam. Just like a person who is too attached to his body goes to hell. Similarly, this person who is doing all these wicked things will definitely go to hell and people are quietly cursing him. So I'll become that. I'll become an object of their curses. So what's the point in living a life like that? So I'll refrain from this. इति घोरतमात् भावात् सन्निवृत्तस्वयं प्रभुः आस्ते प्रतीक्षंस्तज्जन्म हरेर्वैरानुबन्धकृत्. So, in this manner, with these thoughts, out of protection for his own, not because of love for Devaki or for Devaki's child, his nephew or niece, but for love for his own reputation. At least that much sense he has that, okay, I don't care about Devaki or her child. I don't give a damn what happens to her, but at least I should have dignity and I should live a dignified life. And therefore, I have no choice but to not kill this lady. So he decided to refrain, and then, obviously he was no longer peaceful because he knew that any moment the child will be born, and then what will happen? So he waited anxiously for that child, his mind increasingly feeling enmity towards Hari. The enmity increased day by day. How did it increase? It's described here. Asina samvishanstishthan bhunjanah paryatan mahim चिन्तयानो हृषीकेशं पश्यत् अपश्यत्तन्मयं jagat. So asinah means while sitting, samvishan means while sleeping or while lying down, ishthan while standing, bhunjanah while eating, paryatan means while wandering, mahim means on the earth, wandering on the earth, chintayanah while thinking, rishikesham apashyat, he saw Rishikesha, he saw Krishna. So each of the activities means whatever he was doing, regardless of what he was doing, he was seeing Krishna everywhere. And Tanmayam Jagat, he felt as if the entire universe was pervaded by Krishna. Everywhere, everything he saw, there seemed to be Krishna present there, waiting to kill him. It looked like that. Okay, so that's how his mind became filled with thoughts of Krishna. Intensely, he started thinking about Krishna or Vishnu. So at that time, what happened? So now the scene Vyasdevji describes shifts away from Kamsa. It goes to Brahma Bhavascha Tatraitya Munibhir Naradadhibihi Devais Sanucharais Sakam Girbhir Vrishanamaidayan. So the heavenly divine beings, the devas, Brahma, the supreme, the topmost divine being inside this universe is Brahma. Bhavaha, Bhava refers to Shiva. Brahma, Bhavaha, they came there. But did they come there only by themselves? No. Munibihi Naradadibihi, along with the Munis, great rishis, great sages such as Narada, and Devaihi Sanucharaihi, along with the Devas. There are so many other Devas in Swarga like Indra, Varuna, Chandra, and so on and so on. So they came with those Devas also, and their associates, their servants, their assistants, they also came. So wherever a great person goes, the assistants also follow them. So they came Devaihi Sanucharaihi Sakam. And then what did they do after coming there? Girbihi Vrishanamaidayan. Vrishanam. So Sri Bhagavan here, Krishna is described as Vrishana. Vrishana means one who does Varsha. Varsha means a shower or rain. One who rains this world with his sweet activities. One who creates showers of sweetness by his activities in this universe. So he's called Vrishana. So that person, Vrishana, who is sitting inside now Devaki's womb, Girbihi Aidayan. Aidayan, Edanam means praising or worshipping. So Aidayan means praising or worshipping, praising with their words, Girbihi, with their words, with their singing. They started praising the Vishnu inside. So now onwards, Vyasdevji tells us some of the prayers that they said, and we will just quickly go through them. You see, prayer is a very, very powerful form of connecting with God. And prayer actually cleanses our mind of all kinds of unwanted thoughts. It makes our mind very clear, gives us a lot of inner strength. And you see, it's not only ordinary human beings who pray, but even the great devas, the sages, they pray to Vishnu in this manner. सत्यव्रतं सत्यपरं त्रिसत्यं सत्यस्य योनिं निहितं च सत्ये सत्यस्य सत्यमृतसत्यनेत्रं सत्यात्मकं त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नाः. So the first verse describes the, the, the Deva, the Vishnu who is inside Devaki. He says, we have taken Tvam Sharanam Prapannaha, we have taken shelter or refuge in you. And who are you? You are Satyavrata. Satyavrata means one who is committed to the truth, to always being truthful, who has taken a vow of the truth. Satyavrata, Satyaparaha means to attain whom truth is the best means. Param means Satyam is the Param Upayaha, Paropayaha. There's no superior means to attain him than to be truthful, to be genuine, Nishkapat. Okay? And Trisatyam. Trisatyam means one who exists in all three phases of time. Trikala. Trikala means three phases of time. The what is past, what is present, and future. So Trisatya means one whose existence pervades all three aspects of time, one who never becomes non-existent. Satyasya yonihi. So the word Sat also refers to this material creation, something that has an existence. So Satyasya yonihi, the source of this material creation, Nihitam cha Satye, is also the sink of this creation. Satyasya Satyam Satyasya Satyamrita Satyanetram. So Satyasya Yonim Nihitam cha Satye includes the maintenance also. So he is the source of the creation, the maintenance, and the sink, ultimate destruction. And Satyasya Satyamrita Satyanetram. So it says that even after the destruction of this creation happens, he will continue to exist. He will not become non-existence. This material creation will get absorbed, will have its Mahapralaya. But even when Mahapralaya happens to this material creation, he doesn't become non-existence, he continues to exist. And the next creation happens after that. So he is situated within everything, within all the elements of matter uh, as the Antaryami. So Satyasya Yoni means he is the source or the cause of the five elements of matter, which are called Sat, and he is inside them, Nihitam. And even after they are destroyed, he exists. And he leads the way, Satyasya Netram. He leads the way to Ritam and Satyam, means he leads the way to Samata, Samatva, and to truthful speech. Ritam means truthful speech. And his form exists, Satyatmakam, his form exists eternally. So, using the word Satya, they have composed a verse which describes Sri Bhagavan as someone who is eternal, who is beyond matter, who is beyond time, and who is eternally existing. And we have taken refuge in such a person. So, this is how the Devas describe him. The next shloka contains a huge amount of information in just a few lines. एकायनोऽसौ द्विपलस्त्रिमूलः चतुरसः पञ्चविधः षडात्मा सप्तत्वगष्टविटपो नवाक्षो दशच्छदी द्विखगो ह्यादिवृक्षः. So this shloka does not describe Vishnu, it describes the material creation or samsara. Or you can say, not even material creation, it describes our experience of the material creation or what is called as samsara, or what we say material existence. Our material existence, our experience of this material existence, how does it happen? He says it's like a tree, a vriksha, adi vriksha. It's an original tree. Why is it original? Because it's always been there. It's not that we came into this existence at some point in time. Since minus infinity on the time axis, we have been in material existence. Of course, we don't have to go until plus infinity. We can end this material existence and realize our true existence, our true nature, and experience that same eternity which Bhagavan is experiencing. That is possible. So, material existence has no Adi, but it has a Anta. So, it's Adi Vriksha, means it's always been there. So, this Vriksha is described in this manner. Ekayanaha. Ekayanaha means Ekam Ayanam Yasya Saha. This vriksha has, this material existence has one single refuge, and that is called Prakriti. Prakriti is the original source of matter. It's described in Bhagavatam elsewhere that when the material creation happens, it's not that everything that we see around appears at the same instant. Initially, there is a very, very subtle form of matter known as Prakriti or Pradhana. Then that transforms into something more gross called Mahat Tattva, and then that from that come other subtle elements which become part of our linga shariram, like manaha, buddhi, ahankaraha, etc., mind, ego, intelligence. And then come other senses, the five knowledge acquiring senses, chakchuhu, shrotram, etc., the subtle forms of subtle senses which are part of our subtle body or linga shariram. And then eventually the gross elements, earth, water, bhumi, apaha. So all those gross elements come from which our gross body is made. So this, all this, put together is part of our material existence, and that is described in this shloka. So the original source is the single point refuge of our material existence, and so it is ekam, one refuge. Then two fruits, dvifalaha. So, what are the two fruits of material existence? One is called sukha, happiness, and the other is called dukkha, misery. So, we want only one of these fruits actually. If you ask anyone, what do you want? Do you want both of them? No, I want only one, and that is called sukha. I want happiness. But even though we want only one and don't want the other one comes by its own will, right? It keeps coming. And what we really want, sukha, does not always come. It only comes sometimes. That's the nature of this existence. So there are two fruits, sukha and dukkha. And this tree of material existence has three roots, trimula. Trini mulani yasya saha, trimulaha. So three gunas of Prakriti, Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th chapter, these three gunas are beautifully described. And again in the 17th chapter and 18th chapter, there is more elaboration on these three gunas. So the whole theory of trigunas is explained in Bhagavad Gita very beautifully, and we discussed these things. Then Chaturasaha, four juices in this tree. What are they? They correspond to the four human pursuits of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma means righteous living, following what the Shastra says, leading a life of righteousness, not doing anything, not doing harm to anybody, speaking the truth, etc., as a matter of duty, and experiencing happiness by living like that. That is called dharma. But then we also need artha, material gain. Similarly, we feel sometimes the need for kama, sense-based happiness. So they are considered as distinct pursuits, not just dharma, but some people also pursue artha and some people also pursue kama. And finally, there are a few people who also reject these three and they pursue moksha. That is uttama dharma, parodharma. So moksha. So there are four human pursuits broadly given, and they correspond to the four juices of this tree of material existence. Pancha vidha, the five knowledge acquiring senses. So he's going from the more subtle to the less subtle, the more gross. So now he's come to the five senses, the five knowledge acquiring senses, which is chakshuhu, our sense of sight, shrotram, sense of sound, granam, or sense of smell, rasanam, or sense of taste, and twak, or sense of touch. The five senses. Again, we discussed this while discussing Bhagavad Gita. The six inherent natures, this material existence is called Shadatma, because six types of Swabhav, it is said. So, what are they? Here it refers to the six types of miseries: Shoka, lamentation; Moha, delusion, confusion; Jara, or old age, also known as senescence in English; Mrityu, or death; then hunger, Shut; and pipasa, or thirst. So these six types of miseries keep troubling us all the time. They keep coming to us in material existence. We don't want them. We don't want any of them. Nobody will say, I want this particular misery. No one says that. Everybody wants happiness, but they will come. They keep coming. Then seven saptattvak. Saptattvak means seven layers of skin. This tree of material existence has got seven layers of skin, and they correspond to the seven constituents which make up our gross body. So after discussing the subtle things like the elements of the subtle body and the goals of life and so on, now he's come to the elements of the gross body, which consists of the tvak, or the skin, the asran, or blood, mamsa, flesh, meda, fat, and asti, the bones, then vasha means the bone marrow, and semen, or shukra. So these are the corresponding fluid in a female body. So all this is together constituting the seven aspects of the seven distinct elements in the gross body. This is one way of classifying it. The Western science may classify it in a different way. This is how the Indian knowledge system classified the elements in the human body. Then this tree of existence has got eight branches. Ashta Vitapaha. Vitapam means branch. So what are they? The Prithvi, earth, water; Apaha, Tejas, or fire; Vayuhu, air; Akasha, space; then Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, mind, intelligence, and the false ego. So these are both the gross elements and subtle elements which make up our two bodies: the gross body, which we can feel, and the subtle body, which we experience. We cannot feel it tangibly, but we can experience it. We do experience it. Nine holes in the gross body, nava. So these are like the nine holes in a tree. Okay, the tree has got multiple cavities and holes for animals to live. I mean, they are not for animals to live, but animals go and live in them, right? So similarly, this gross body has nine gates, or nine entrances, navaksha. So what are they? The two eyes, which through which sight comes in, light comes in, and we are able to see. Two nostrils through which air, smell, etc. comes, nasika. Two ear holes through which sound enters, karna. Then the mouth through which food and water and everything and air also enters. Then the anus through which something exits, it's called Guda, or Payuhu, and the genitals through which also waste exits our body, Upastham, it's called Upastham. So nine holes or nine gates of the body. This is referred to, so the body is also called Navadwara Pure, Navadwara Pura, or Navadwara Puram. This body is called Navadwara Puram, the city with nine gates. Then the 10 leaves of this tree. What are the 10 leaves? refers to the 10 types of prana flowing in this body. What is meant by prana? Prana is a subtle energy, a subtle form of energy which exists in this universe and which pervades our bodies. When a living being occupies a material body, like all of us now have this body in this current birth. So, in any given birth, the living being has a body. When it takes the body, automatically, along with the body, for the sustenance of the body, prana enters that body. And prana enters in 10 forms. There are 10 types of prana. They are also called prana, apana. So, the first type of prana is also called prana. Then apana, udana, vyana, samana. So these first five are called the major pranas, the mukhya pranas. And then we have five upapranas. They are called Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta, and Dhananjaya. So what do these pranas do? To put it in a summary, these pranas essentially they ensure that the different systems in the body, the organs and the different systems of which these organs are a part, like for example the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the excretory system, the digestive system, the nervous system, and so on. So many different systems through which our body functions. And if these systems function properly, the body is healthy and the mind is peaceful, right? So these 10 pranas are the ones that are actually responsible, or when these pranas flow properly, then all these systems work properly. That is the understanding. So biology has a subtle aspect to it. Biology is studied in a gross aspect which can be seen through the microscope or felt with our finger, or seen with the eyes. But there's a subtle aspect which cannot be felt with the eyes, or which cannot be seen. It can be experienced. Prana can be experienced by us through its symptoms. When prana is working perfectly, the body feels energy. Body feels so much lightness, energy, vitality. It feels like sort of optimism. And that is why pranayama is done. In the Yoga Shastra, or in the practice of yoga, pranayama is emphasized. And pranayama is done to regulate the movement of prana. So the body feels mind. So even with simple pranayama done for say 10 minutes, one can immediately feel a clearing of the mind and a calmness and so on, right? So imagine somebody who does it much more seriously, how much better they will be, right? And that is the power of prana. For yogis, pranayama is a very, very fundamental and extremely important practice, because through that they control their eventual movement towards God. Okay, finally, the 11th item is the two birds, Dvikhagaha, the two birds sitting on the tree. Who are the two birds? The Jivatma, that is each one of us, and the Paramatma, that is Ishvara, Bhagavan. So in this body, there are two birds always sitting, the Jivatma, and within the Jivatma is the Paramatma, who's always present with the Jivatma. So this is a description of the samsara. Of course, all the elaboration which I have done here is not given directly here. Only the numbers are given. Ekayanaha, Dvifalaha, Trimulaha. So the numbers 1, 2, 3, all the way till 10. And then finally again two birds. So these numbers are given in this verse. But what those specific metaphors refer to is not directly given here. It's indirectly given. And so I got this through studying the commentaries of different acharyas. And all the acharyas whose commentaries I studied, that is Sridhara Swami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, and Baladev Vidyabhushana, more or less agree on these descriptions. Almost the same descriptions, all of them are given, with slight differences in some places. So now the devas, after describing Sri Bhagavan in one way, they are describing the material existence. So why are they describing it? Because they're supposed to be praising him, no? So why are they now talking about the material existence? They're talking about it just to tell that you are not this, you are beyond this. You don't experience this. This is experienced by the Jivatmas. And you are just a witness as the Paramatma, you just witness the Jivatma experiencing this. Okay, to show the distinction between Bhagavan and material existence and the Jivatma. This shloka is spoken. Then, Tvameka evasya satah prasutihi, Tvam sannidhanam, Tvamanugrahascha, Tvanmayaya samvrita chetasastvam, Pashyanti nana namipaschitoye. So they say that you are the only one personality. There is no second person. You are one and only origin of this material creation. Asya sataha. Sataha means of this creation. Prasutihi, the origin. Sannidhanam, the sink. And anugraha, the maintainer. All three, only you. But Mayaya Samvrita Chetasaha, because of Maya, our intelligence or our perception is covered. And because of that, people think that there are three different people: Rudra, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. You say three. For example, there's something called the Hindu Trinity. The Westerners have made that, right? They call it Hindu Trinity: Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Because somewhere it's mentioned in our Shastra too that there are three Purusha avatars. Brahma takes care of Rajoguna, Vishnu takes care of Sattva Guna, and Shiva takes care of Tamo Guna, and so on. So these are just functions. So looking at that, people think, okay, there are three different gods. Okay, they are like competitors, or they are three different people, shareholders in a company. No, they're not three different people. There's only one person, and that one person manifests himself as three like this, and that is you, Mahavishnu, who has come here in this form. The learned people know this. Na vipaschitaha. Vipaschitaha evam na pashyanti. Ye pashyanti samvrita chetasaha evam pashyanti. Mayaya samvrita chetasaha. बिभर्षि रूपाणि अवबोध आत्मा क्षेमाय लोकस्य चराचरस्य सत्वोपपन्नानि सुखावहानि satamabhadrani muhuhu kalanam. So even though you are actually beyond this creation, you take forms. You are the conscious entity, pure consciousness. You are actually pure consciousness. But you actually, out of your own strength, satvopapannani rupani lokasya kshemaya, characharasya lokasya kshemaya sukhavahani satam abhadrani khalanam, means that you take these forms because you want to give pleasure to the saintly people, and you want to create good fortune for them. Sukhavahani means you create happiness. When you come in these forms, the saintly people become very happy. You come because of your own strength. It's not that you have to borrow somebody else's strength or you depend on someone else to help you. Out of your own strength, you appear here. And why do you come? Kshemaya, lokasya kshemaya. Just like yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata. Abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So different things he, you know, sort of lays out. And he says, I come for all these purposes, essentially for the welfare of this world. For the welfare of people, I manifest myself. So, Kshemaya Lokasya Characharasya Kshemaya. What kind of people, what kind of entities? Both the moving entities and non moving entities. The moving entities are people like us, animals, birds, insects. Non moving, the trees, plants, they don't move, they're standing there. And also the non living beings, which are also moving and non moving, like rivers, which are moving, and the you can say the clouds which are moving, and the non-moving like the mountains or the rocks, they don't move. So for the benefit of everything, the environment, for the living beings, I come. And abhadrani khalana means at the same time that it gives pleasure to the saintly people, it causes the misfortune of the wicked people. The wicked people are very unfortunate when you come, because their all their happiness is destroyed. त्वय्यम्बुजाक्षाखिल सत्त्वधाम्नि समाधिनावेशितचेतसैके त्वत्पादपोतेन महत्कृतेन कुर्वन्ति गोवत्सपदं भवाब्धिम् त्वय्यम्बुजाक्षाखिलसत्त्वधाम्नि समाधिनावेशितचेतसैके त्वत्पादपोतेन महत्कृतेन कुर्वन्ति गोवत्सपदं भवाब्धिम्. So he says how people who actually have taken refuge in you, or taken refuge in your lotus like feet, how for them this samsara, which I just described, the material existence, which is actually so fearsome and difficult to cross over, becomes very easy to cross over. So he says, you are so beautiful. Your eyes are like beautiful lotuses. Ambujakshaha means one whose eyes are like beautiful, soft lotuses. Akhila Sattva Dhamni means those who have taken refuge in pure Sattva, you are their refuge. Those who are situated in pure Sattva, the saintly people, you are their refuge. And with their consciousness, completely in trance upon you. Okay, they are in complete trance upon you. Through that trance, what do? They meditate on your lotus-like feet, and they consider your feet like boats to cross the ocean of material existence. And because even though this ocean of material existence is so huge, it becomes for them just like a pool in the hoof print of a calf. Okay, this metaphor, this comparison of the ocean to the small pool created by the hoof print of a calf, okay, which is very small, right? Anybody can cross over it. Nobody even realizes when they walk that they have crossed over the hoof print of a calf because it is so small on the ground. So, for those who have absorbed their mind in you in trance, crossing over this material existence is so easy. That's what they're saying. So, they're pointing to the process of bhakti indirectly. They're saying this is the process of crossing over, not by any other means. It is not by doing some exercises or even pranayama. So, pranayama and asana, etc., they help only to give us peace of existence as we live in this world. But if we want to go to something even higher, to make God a part of our life, to learn to live with God, then serving Him, doing His bhakti is the only means. And this continues. So these prayers of of the Devas towards Sri Vishnu in the womb of Mother Devaki continue, and we will continue reading them in the next session too. We began this session by asking these questions: is there a higher being called God? How do we understand God? How do the Shastras such as Bhagavad-gita describe God? How does God understand Himself? So these are the kind of questions, actually, these have been the topic of discussion or topics of discussion over millions of years. People have been obsessed with this. Right? Our history does not start a few thousand years back. It goes back to yugas, millions of years back. That's how history is described in the Indian knowledge system. And it says that people have been discussing this, and through understanding Shastra, through reading the Shastra, these questions become answered. Otherwise, merely by speculation, it's easy to conclude that there is no God. Okay, just by understanding this world in a good way. Many people do that because they become very comfortable with this world. Everything is going well in this world. So, why do I need to think of something called God? God is something that people have created with their own imagination. So, we hear statements like, uh, you know, man makes God or God made man. Okay, who made whom? So these kind of jokes and statements we keep hearing, and there are people who call themselves rationalists. They say we are rational in our thinking because we don't just accept something that we cannot see. Okay, but actually that's quite irrational. To assume that only what we see or what we can directly experience exists and nothing other than that exists is actually very irrational, because we know that there are so many other things too which we are discovering, right? Even science, modern science today, has been discovering all along, and it's going on discovering, which means there are so many things which we don't know about, and God is one of them. Through understanding the Shastra, which has been written down by people, very intelligent people, not by irrational people, people who are very rational, very clear thinking. When we read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we see that clarity, very systematic clarity, how it's explained, and we understand God very well. And this helps us to ultimately make a life with God. And this is the goal of life that Bhagavad Gita gives, living with God. As we live, God becomes a part of our life. It's not that we have to leave what we do now and go somewhere else. We have to go to a mountain or a cave. Absolutely not. We have to live the way we are living, but with God, living with God. That is the purpose of life that Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita prescribe. And what does that give us? It gives us clarity of purpose. It gives us clarity in the means to that purpose, clarity in what we should do, how we should do it. There is deep inner fulfillment. There is happy relationships and mental peace and quietness, inner strength, confidence. And also, not only mental strength, but bodily strength as well, because our lifestyle improves. We refine our lifestyle. We consciously say, I will live a better life. And thereby, living with God is the means to the best life. We live our best life when we live with God. That is the purpose of doing all this. Okay, with these thoughts, I will now stop. I will unmute you, and I'm eager to listen to your questions, comments, your insights, whatever you would like to share. Let me first unmute you so that you can ask questions. Yes, feel free to unmute yourself anytime. Let me also open my video panel. I can see you. You talk. There are my videos. So my video is shut. Wait 1 second. Let me open this. Yes, anyone, feel free to share what you felt when I was going through these shlokas, or if you have any questions on what I said. Yes, Rohit, you had something to ask?
Yes, sir. Pranam, sir.
Pranam, Pranam.
Sir, all these qualities that we have just learnt about Bhagavan,
Yes.
I wanted to understand how do we attain them? Is the purpose of life so that we attain these qualities from Bhagavan? Is the reason that Bhagavan did all this leela so that we can learn from him and impact these qualities in ourselves? Was that the point of him doing all these leelas? And if so, in our sansaric jivan, when we live like this with all these connections and all of these attachments, how do we just start taking this path towards Bhagavan to get all those qualities?
Yes, very good question. Very relevant question. Yes, that is the purpose for which Bhagavan comes here, because he wants to show us his qualities so that we imbibe those qualities. When we imbibe the qualities that he has, then we experience the happiness that he experiences. In his mind, in his consciousness, there is continuous feeling of happiness, continuous feeling of bliss. He's always blissful. He's never confused. He's always clear in his thinking, and that's his strength. And the greatest asset that God has is pure love, is antaranga shakti. Okay, love is the greatest emotion, and that love is the one that's the source of all happiness. Okay, just like it's easy to understand that when we experience love towards anything in this world, okay, it could be our mother. We begin with our mother. The first person that we love in this world is our own mother, then our father, and then maybe close relatives like our grandmother, then subsequently our teachers, and then our own siblings, and then relatives, and then friends, and eventually we may find a partner in life, the partner in our own children, etc., etc., and pets, of course, pets, and then we love our job, we love our car, we love our house. So when we experience love towards anything and we feel reciprocation, we feel that other entity is loving us. Through the exchange of love, we feel happiness. And that happiness is the supreme happiness in this world. In this world, whatever love we experience, that gives us better happiness than any other form of happiness. For example, sensual happiness. Sensual happiness is inferior to the happiness experienced by the emotion of love, isn't it? All of you will agree with that. It is lasting. Emotion of love is lasting. And like that, there is also spiritual happiness or original deep happiness or spiritual love, real love inside, that is different from this material love. And that Sri Bhagavan wants to infuse in us. When he comes, he attracts us towards that love. That is the love, that prema, that he feels towards all living beings. And he wants us to feel that. He wants us to get that. So, what is the path for going towards that? The path is to develop awareness about Him. That's the first thing. Adau Shraddha. So, we have already taken the first step. We are reading the Shastra. By reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, and other Shastra, Mahabharata, Ramayana, the Puranas, and so on, by repeated reading, contemplation, and thinking, the first step towards this has begun. And the next step is the sadhana that we perform, specific sadhana like chanting His name, japa. Japa is the sadhana for this Kali Yuga. By chanting is a form of meditation. Japa is a form of dhyan. Sitting down and removing everything from the mind except the name, the sound of his name, and chanting his name repeatedly for a certain amount of time every day is the form of meditation for Kali Yuga. And by doing that, one's mind becomes purified. One starts experiencing the presence of God. The thoughts of God fill our life, and one starts seeing God everywhere, seeing Krishna everywhere. So as one does that, one knows that one is progressing on this path, and then gradually further direction automatically comes from within. Of course, there are books which elaborate much more than what I just said, but I've just given the key pointers towards that. Rohit, does it answer your question?
Yes, sir, got it, sir. Sir, and sorry, sir, just a follow up. And the
Yes.
japa that you say,
Yes.
so on what is the nama that we should take when we do a japa?
So different acharyas have given different nama. And for example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Or he himself, when he, for example, went on the tour of South India from Bengal, from Puri, he did a tour of the entire country. He went to the south all the way till Kanyakumari and came up through, Kerala, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and then finally through Maharashtra. And finally, so all the time he was chanting Krishna He, Krishna He, Krishna 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 He. So he used to chant like that, the name of Krishna. So there are different mantras, different acharyas have given, and in the process of diksha, this mantra is normally given by the guru to the shishya in the bhakti marga. But even before diksha, the Hare Krishna mantra can be chanted by everyone. That is why publicly he made it available. It is not a mantra like the Gayatri. Gayatri is given in diksha only. It cannot be publicly given. It's not meant to be publicly chanted. It's given in the ear by the guru. In the same way, Hare Krishna mantra also is given in the ear by the Guru during the Diksha process. But even before that, if somebody is inspired, they should chant and they should actually invite the opportunity for them to find a Guru and to take Diksha from a Guru. So this is an example. But there are other sampradayas which also have other mantras to chant. All of them are different names of God. He has so many different names, and one can chant whichever name that one follows, sampradaya, according to the sampradaya.
Got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
So sometime in course of time, I will one day conduct a session on bhakti and on how to practice the angas of bhakti like chanting and so on. So I'll have a separate session for that, and those of you who are interested can come for that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Sarthak, you have a question?
Pranam, sir.
Pranam, Pranam.
Sir, I had an observation and a follow-up question on the on the last class. So you had mentioned a beautiful metaphor about Sri Krishna's appearance in this world and how the different entities are metaphors for different things. For example, Kamsa is the fear of material
Yeah.
existence,
Hmm.
and the six children that he killed earlier were the six desires.
Hmm.
So on and so forth. And when Anantasesha comes, the Prema comes,
Hmm.
then it opens the door for Krishna to come.
Yeah.
So over here, observation was that you did not say Kamsa to be material existence itself. It was Kamsa being
Yeah.
the fear of material existence. So is it in line with the verse in Shashtakam? I want to, in multiple births, birth after birth, let me have your bhakti, but so what I want is bhakti alone. So basically, the material existence might be there, but the fear of material existence is dissolved away due to
Yeah.
the consciousness being.
Yeah. Correct. So initially, when the bhakta begins, you see, when a bhakta is in the initial stages, maybe before people know what bhakti really is and what this samsara is and what the goal of life is, there is something called as mukti, there is something called as prema, which is even beyond mukti. So before people know that, they are still absorbed in material existence, right? Even bhaktas. There are different types of bhaktas. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritina arjuna. So among those bhaktas, not all of them really know that they should get out of samsara. They are just attached to Vishnu. For example, if you look at Tirupati, I mean, it's not only in Tirupati but everywhere. But I'm giving the example of Tirupati because you can see there so many people, big businessmen. They come there with the understanding that Vishnu is the provider of my success, business success. So I have a transaction with Vishnu. I have an arrangement with Vishnu that I will donate so much to the temple every year. I will donate 1 crore. If I make 5 crores, I will donate 1 crore. If I make 10 crores, I will donate 2 crores. So this kind of exchange is worked out in the mind. A commitment is made to Vishnu. And then when the success happens, they actually go there. They go to the temple and they contribute a huge amount of money, and they perceive that actually it has come because Vishnu has blessed me with this. So these people are obviously not aware of samsara, that they are in samsara, and then there is something much higher than that. There is a way to transact with God without this kind of an exchange, material exchange. There is pure love that is possible, where the bhakta says, I don't want anything from you. I only want to give you happiness. So instead of God giving me happiness, the bhakta now thinks, I want to give God happiness. I want to do what makes him happy. And in that, my happiness will come. In seeing him happy, I will be happy. That is prema. So, to go to that stage, initially the fear of samsara is required. That is why Kamsa is said to be the fear of samsara. You follow?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
So,
yes, definitely. So first there is ignorance about material existence.
yes,
Then there is this fear of material existence, and then
yes,
you transcend that fear.
yes, yes,
That
yes,
is some kind of intermediary stage. Yes.
absolutely. So, not everybody who worships God is aware of the fact that we have a material existence. We are in an existence that is not natural for us. Our natural existence is a divine existence where we are free from matter completely. Okay, this knowledge, when it first comes theoretically when we read the Shastra like Gita or Bhagavatam or whichever. Once it comes theoretically and one starts appreciating it, then one is motivated to try to go towards that consciousness where one becomes consciously aware of it all the time. And then one starts experiencing that lightness, the happiness which comes with that freedom. So mukti begins in a continuous manner. Mukti is not just the end stage. Of course, complete mukti is the end stage, and beyond that is prema, pure love. But well before that stage, a sort of freedom starts. Mukti begins in a gradual manner when this awareness starts coming. So that fear of samsara is very important. Is very, very important. You follow, Sarthak?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, and as a follow-up question, for the advanced stages, for example, the Pandavas,
Yeah.
or say even Shri Hanuman.
Hmm.
So Shri Hanuman is a very advanced bhakta, but when in the Leela of Ramayana, he has all these emotions for Sri Rama, and he says is that matlab, he wants to experience that bliss in the service of Sri Rama,
Hmm.
and he wants to serve him. So he experiences different emotions.
Hmm.
So that is one way. He is also liberated. He is directly transacting with Sri Rama and knows that he is God himself, and all of this is his Leela. But still, he experiences all these bhavas.
Yeah.
So, for someone who is Brahmanishta,
Hmm.
so does that happen, or maybe those emotions also do not happen for, say, a Jivan Mukta or Brahmanishta?
They may not
So
happen.
they,
Yeah, they may not happen if bhakti has not come. Bhakti is a particular kind of energy that is present in God, in Bhagavan. It's his antaranga shakti, means it's always inside him, it's deep inside him. So it is not necessary that even a Jivan Mukta should have bhakti. It's only by the anugraha, by the blessings of God and his bhakta, by the blessings of his bhakta, that bhakti develops in the heart. So when the Jivan Mukta gets bhakti, then he transforms even further. So he's free from samsara with some bhakti. I mean, without bhakti, even that freedom will not be there. So basic form of bhakti is abiding by the shastra, following the principles, and then one becomes liberated. But the bhakti that we are speaking about, pure prema bhakti. So when that comes, the person completely transforms even further, much further. So what Hanuman has is that prema. Hanuman's bhakti or the bhakta of many others like Prahalad or Pandavas, that is that prema. That is different from the experience of a Jivan Mukta. It's beyond that, well beyond that. Draupadi.
So you mentioned about Prahlad Maharaj.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to understand, and Draupadi as well in the same sense. So
Hmm.
when there was this incident about the Vastravardhana during the Sabha of
Vastraharana.
Draupadi,
Vastraharan.
no, but
Vastravardhan also. Vastavardhan also. Hmm. Yes.
yes. So in that incident, she was first distressed, or maybe say in the case of Rishi Durvasa
Hmm.
coming to the hermitage.
Hmm.
So there were instances, but then there was Sri Bhagwan to her rescue, and she had to take, or she took pure refuge in him alone, and
Yes.
then the help she sought help, and help was there.
Yes.
I just wanted to understand what is the case in the case of Prahlad Maharaj. So is he Brahmanishta in the sense that what I have heard is he was fearless. Why? Because he knew that Vishnu is everywhere. So
Yes.
even though he was being tortured in different ways, but he did not have any suffering. I mean, he was not even distressed.
Yes.
So was he Brahmanishta and a Bhakta at the same time?
Very much. He was a bhakta. He was a Mahabhagavata. It is described, no? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam, Padasevanam. That's Prahlad Shloka in Saptama Skanda. He describes the 9 limbs of bhakti.
Yes,
So,
yes.
throughout the chapters where that story is given, Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad, it's a very beautiful story with Prahlad being, brought up and he's tortured by his father who hates Vishnu, and Prahlad loves Vishnu. The contrast. And whenever his father asks him, "What have you learned?" or something, he replies saying that this is what I learned. He talks about bhakti. He talks about his father being a foolish guy. He says that you are so attached to your own body. He speaks philosophy with his father. He speaks deep philosophy. And his father is not able to understand why this guy is speaking like that. So initially he thinks the teachers have taught him like that. Then the teachers, they plead innocence, and then he realizes that, okay, the teachers have not done this. This fellow has got influenced by Vishnu himself. And so, of course, Prahalad was a Mahabhagavata, or is a Mahabhagavata. You should use the present tense.
So, sir, my question is, was he even distressed at any point of time? So, what
No,
I know or what I've heard is, yes. Mhm.
he was not. He was not troubled by his father's actions. He only felt sympathy on his father, that his father could not
Correct.
see the truth that he could see. So he knew
Right.
that his father was going towards his own suffering by, by
Mhm.
the kind of atrocities that he was engaging in. His father was was an asura, typical asura, tormenting others, doing everything for his own selfish power, troubling others and so on. So he knew that his father was creating misery for himself. So he himself had no fear for himself. He was always free from fear. His mind was always in bliss. It is said that he felt that Vishnu was always touching him, always felt the touch of Vishnu on him. So that's why he
So,
was completely inspired to do whatever he was doing.
so basically, he was experiencing bhakti even in the stage of being a Brahmanist
Yeah.
because he is not
See, this
experiencing any
bhakti,
distress.
when
He
you
is in bliss.
experience, when you
Still, he,
experience, sorry, I'm sorry, please complete, please complete.
no, no, sorry. Sorry, sir.
When somebody experiences bhakti, they are automatically in Brahmanishta also. Bhakti is way beyond Brahmanishta. Pure bhakti is way beyond that. You follow? And it is not necessary to
So,
first become a Brahmanishta and then become a Bhakta. It is not necessary. Becoming a Brahmanishta is a byproduct of the path of bhakti. When one is on the path of bhakti and the purification of the consciousness happens, then automatically that Brahmanishtatvam comes to them. It automatically emerges inside them. They don't have to separately work towards that. You follow what I'm saying? It's a byproduct.
but
Yes.
why I brought this up is because if I were to contrast, so we know that the Pandavas were bhaktas, but they also experienced some distress, or maybe say Sri Ram himself, who is the Lord of the universe, due to the influence of his own yoga maya,
Yes.
he feels an amount of stress when Sri Lakshman he's holding himself in his own lap and crying what has happened, even though he fully is aware that he is this is his lila only, but still he is feeling some distress. But Prahlad, in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, he is ever free. He is completely blissful and does not experience any distress. So in that way, I was,
That's
because
because the
what I have
Leela
heard is
is
that,
different. What the Pandavas experience and what Sri Ram himself experienced is not the same distress that we experience under the three gunas of Prakriti. Their experience of distress is not in the three gunas of Prakriti because it's in constant remembrance of Vishnu, because of the deep attachment to Vishnu or Krishna. So that intense attachment enhances or becomes more intense when they feel that distress. So it's a different kind of distress. It is the distress of separation. They feel the need for his
Viraha
presence
Bhava.
even more. Yeah, that viraha bhav or that utkantha for his protection. They feel that connection even stronger. Just like Draupadi, spontaneously. You see, as a woman, the first thought went to her own husbands. When somebody was torturing her, abusing her, she thought of her own husbands first, naturally. And when she realized that they were not in a position to help her, they were not responding at all. They were just sitting quietly like mummies because of other reasons. There were reasons why they were not able to do anything. And she realizes that, and then she immediately, spontaneously turns to Krishna. It is very spontaneous. It's not a logical thing. It is spontaneous. It's already there in her. But first, as a wife of someone, you first look at your husband, and the moment you realize husband also cannot help, then spontaneously you turn to God. There's no one else. She turns to God and calls to Him. And when she calls to Him, you see, she's not suffering. She's actually feeling that intense connection with God. Everything else becomes uh, immaterial. That guy is removing her sari, he's going to shame her, he's going to cause embarrassment. It becomes immaterial at that time because of that intense bond with God. It doesn't matter what will happen because I want Him. She catches on to God in her consciousness. And obviously, then we know what happened. The same thing happens in Durvasa incident also. When she realizes that this is going to happen now, Durvasa will come back from the river with his disciples and he's going to curse all of us because that's what he does always. So immediately she starts calling Krishna, exactly in the same way she did when her sari was being pulled off. So she calls Krishna, and immediately he appears. In both situations, he appears immediately. In the second situation, he physically appears in front of her. In the other one, he comes as the sari. He takes the form of the sari and appears like that. So the distress experienced is not the same as, because in our distress, what do? We don't think of God, or even if we think of God, it is very faint. It's not intense enough, right? It's not intense enough for us to hold on to it. Maybe in some cases it is. Some people also are there who are able to think of Him like that. So in distress, we get. That's why we turn to other things. We turn to, binge eating, for example. Binge eating is a product of stress, or some people smoke or drink alcohol because they want to calm down and remove the stress or whatever, right? Different ways in which we try to overcome stress. But you see how they do it. They don't do any of these things, right? That's why it's a different type of stress. It's not the same as our thing. It's in full knowledge.
Okay, sir. Yes,
You
so I
can.
get it. The stress is of a different kind. So when Mother Kunti prays to Sri Krishna that, okay, give me distress in life so that
Hmm.
that will be an alibi for me to remember
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So again, what kind of distress is that? Is she
Same.
asking for a normal distress?
It's same as what she has always experienced, because she is experiencing. She feels that intense bond with him. She's become so attached to it. She wants that. She wants that bond. So she says, "Give me that situation by which my bond with you will become very intense." So she went through that house of, that Lakshagraha, where she was put in a house and it was burned down by the Kauravas. So she experienced, she had to go through the forest and the Bakasura. So much distress she experienced until Draupadi's marriage happened. And later on, of course, the Pandavas were on their own. They went with Draupadi for the Vanavas. But she has experienced it. So she wants that again and again. That's why she wants it. So now you can also see another reason why we can say that two types of distress are different, ontologically different, two different, completely different. If it is the first type of distress, nobody wants it, right? Nobody will ask for it. Give me more of that. Does anybody ask for more distress? Nobody asks for it. You only want to get rid of it somehow or the other. But here there's someone asking for more of it. That means it's a different type of thing. It only gives more pleasure, it gives more intense happiness. That's a good question you asked, and it has
Right.
led to this conclusion. Very good. You can see the difference between the two, right? So it's only when we are in that stage we are capable of asking like that. Right now, we should not ask for that distress because we won't be able to, face a situation like that. We don't have that kind of bhakti at this point of time. But we should aspire to have that kind of bhakti. That should be the aspiration, because that bhakti, it builds in us so much optimism, so much a positive energy, so much optimism and positive energy that nothing matters. Even the greatest difficulty looks very small in front of that, right?
Right.
That is the
Sir,
bhakti. Yeah.
what the last statement just that you just said, I think you had also told a verse in Srimad Bhagavad Gita about Gurunam apeti na vicharya. I don't remember
Yes,
the
yes,
exact
yes,
verse,
yes.
but
Yes, Gurunapi, Yasmin Stitaha, Gurunapi na Vichalyate. So even by a very great difficulty, very heavy situation, such a person doesn't get shaken. Of course, that is not spoken in the context of bhakti. It is spoken in the context of yoga, the practice of Ashtanga yoga,
correct.
where Sattva Guna is so high. It's not even bhakti actually. Of course, eventually Ashtanga yoga also ends in bhakti. After that Samadhi stage is bhakti. For mukti comes only with bhakti. Otherwise, it doesn't come. But here, the
Right.
sattva guna, the high degree of sattva, is also so powerful that in that stage of sattva, even great difficulties look very small. Okay, so these are actually so powerful that bhakti is beyond that. These are byproducts of bhakti. That's how we should understand.
Right, sir. Right. So I think over if we look at all these cases, so I think there is still a choice to the bhakta that what how do they want to go about. So in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, so he becomes a Jivan Mukta and still gets the rus for bhakti, and his rus for bhakti is different from say the way in how other bhaktas want the
Yeah,
bhakti. So he might not have that Viraha bhav, he has only that Anand bhav, and that feeling that Vishnu is everywhere. There's no place where Vishnu is not there, or there's no time where Vishnu is not there. Even when he's being tortured, he does not face any distress because he's seeing this only as an illusion. But still, when Sri Narsimha appears, he is very much reverent to it and to Sri Narsimhaji, and then offers his prayers.
yeah.
So look, again, there is a variety of or a different diversity of bhakti which is available to the bhaktas.
Yes, yes, very much. So in bhakti, there is so much variety of flavor of bhakti. And there are big texts, so many scholarly texts which analyze these different moods of bhakti. So we can learn them just like we learn any other subject. These can be learned. An interesting point here, too, given the example of Prahalad, is how when Prahalad saw Narasimha, when Narasimha appeared from the wall, everybody ran away in fear. Out of fear, everybody ran away seeing that fearful form of Narasimha, except Prahalad. Only Prahalad was not afraid. Everyone stayed away, and only Prahalad went to him, went and started offering his prayers. And he cooled him down. By offering prayers, Prahalad cools him down. He brings him back. So you can see that also there in alignment with what you said. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, good.
It was insightful.
Thank you. So, very good. Any other questions? We are nearing the closing time, but if anybody has a question, we can take one more question. No questions today? Okay. If there are no further questions, we will just do the Antyamangalam and we will close. Please chant the Hare Krishna mantra with me as usual. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you for coming. We'll meet again next week.